Friends, Brian here for Be Better Personal Training, your personal training in the Pontiac area. And I want to talk to you guys today about something very important, something we go into detail with in our online support group. And I talk about this with all my clients. It's hormonal optimization because, again, there's so much confusion out there. I don't mean to be negative or pick on anybody, but the confusion is so prevalent, okay? This is the problem. And this is why there's so many people out there who are discouraged with trying to lose weight and get the body they want. And I'm going to give you an example, okay? Not trying to ruffle any feathers. I'm just saying, not all, but for a lot of health practitioners, if you go see them, say, hey, I'm overweight, I need to lose weight. What is usually their response? Their usual response will be a generalized saying, like, hey, well, just eat a little less and move a little more. Have you heard that one before? Just start to exercise and eat better. Do people ever wonder, what the hell does that mean? Can you be a little more specific and actually help me? Now, I'm not saying this to pick on any health practitioners. With our system, they're usually overburdened and they have a lot on their plate and they're doing the best they can. But I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an insight to something, okay? So what I like to talk about with my clients are, I call it the trifecta. The triangle, very important. 3 very important hormones. Okay, at the top we have testosterone. What do we know about this? Okay, testosterone helps build muscle. It gives you, when you have optimal levels of it, it gives you a very good sense of well-being. You want to hop out of bed in the morning and say, I'm ready to take on the day. If you have low testosterone, you might just want to sit in bed, call in sick to work, and eat cheesies and watch Netflix all day, okay? I know for a lot of middle-aged men, low testosterone is an epidemic that is rampant, and a lot of people don't even know it. They keep putting on weight. They're like, oh, I don't know what's going on here. Like, I don't feel good. I don't feel the way I used to. Testosterone is very important in processing sugar and carbohydrates. So if you're low in testosterone, you're going to start having problems, okay? Now, the next one is called growth hormone. Okay, so testosterone promotes muscle growth. Okay, helps metabolize carbs and sugar. Well-being. I talked about this one time, how where I used to live many years ago, I was in my late 30s, and there was a rash of men around that age who suddenly killed themselves over a period of a year. And it was very disturbing. A lot of people were upset. People were like, I don't know, like he seemed happy in his marriage. He had kids. He had a good job. He had a nice truck. He had a nice house. He had a cottage, yada. But I was wondering, what were their testosterone levels like? Something to think about. And we also know that depression in middle age is rampant out there too. So testosterone is very important, okay? Growth hormone, very important too. Like testosterone, growth hormone lowers as we age. They say that when you're 40 years old, you've got 20% of the growth hormone output that you do when you're 20. When you're 40, when you're 20. Growth hormone, okay? Tissue repair. Okay? Very important for that, but also it burns fat. Okay? Very important. Okay? The third one is called insulin. Okay, so insulin is another one. When we hear this term, we automatically think of diabetes, diabetics, okay? Now, it tends to get vilified by the Atkins diet, by the keto diet. I'm not saying keto's bad, okay? But I'm just giving you guys facts here, ideal and truths. But the thing is that people don't understand about insulin is it's actually very anabolic, meaning it helps build tissue, it helps repair your tissue. So recovery is very crucial. Insulin is very crucial in your muscle recovery after a hard workout. So maybe for people who are eating keto, but they're not exercising, it might not be such a big deal. But if you're exercising, trying to get the body that you want, I don't mean when I say that, guys, again, I'm not saying, hey, let's go crazy and be physique competitors and all. I'm just saying, no, losing the body fat, building yourself up a bit and just feeling better. That's what we're talking about here, not this crazy stuff and all this crazy stuff that people have in their head. But it's very important. So if you're training really hard in the gym, you're putting in good workouts, but you're eating keto, you're going to have recovery problems. You're going to have days where you're like, should I be sore for this long? So insulin is very important for recovery, but it can also be very bad because it promotes fat. Okay. But it also, you can get fat from insulin. That's how people tend to think of it when they think of insulin. But insulin is a very powerful hormone. And if you know how to make it work in conjunction with these other two, it's a big part in helping you get the results you want. But the way our modern diet is now, the foods that we eat really mess all of this up, okay? People will say to me, well, what do I do to build testosterone? How can I get my testosterone better? For sure, do resistance training. Again, folks, I'm not saying to be a competitive powerlifter or a weightlifter or a competitive bodybuilder. We're not talking about those extremes. But by doing safe resistance training, and if you have a good personal trainer, you will be supervised with safe training programs to get you progress, not just a generic, here you go, see you later, and while you end up tearing something when you're lifting. By doing resistance training and eating properly, eating a testosterone promoting diet, okay? I get into this more with my clients. Here's another interesting thing too, a lot of people don't understand. Growth hormone and insulin have an inverse relationship, okay? Could be like this, you're going into the grocery store and you see your ex, you're gonna leave the grocery store when she goes in, or vice versa, okay? If you have high insulin, you can't have growth hormone levels, okay? Not high ones. And if your growth hormone is high, your insulin has to be low, okay? But if you're eating a lot of carbs and sugar all the time, your insulin's high, where's your growth hormone release? This is the one that burns fat. This helps you repair, but we have to know how, just enough to get the repair from your workouts and then cut it off, okay? Now here, we want your growth hormone higher, okay? So how to do that? A big part of it is sleeping better, okay? So you don't want your insulin high when you're getting ready for bed, okay? You want deep sleep. That's when your growth hormone is released in pulses. So if you're doing this, okay, and we increase your growth hormone, we increase your testosterone by resistance training and eating a proper diet that's going to help you with your testosterone, you're going to see some results, okay? So I'm sure you guys have had someone who said, you know, I don't eat so many hours before bed, and I noticed I've lost a bit of weight. Yeah, because we don't have insulin working. If you eat a pizza right before bed, I mean, we've all done that, haven't we? But it's a good pizza. Just kidding. So what's happening? Well, your insulin's cycling all night, putting those calories into your fat cells, and it's blunting your growth hormone response. So here, if we keep our insulin low at night and our growth hormone, and when we get that good deep sleep, our growth hormone is going to go up. Well, growth hormone burns fat. These are things that I go over with my clients, folks, and we figure out what the best foods are for you and when you should eat it. If you're interested in a consultation with me, you can contact me at the information provided here on our Facebook page. I don't like writing my phone number out on Facebook or on the internet because then I start getting a million calls from all around the world, all these companies and scammers trying to sell me something. So this is another thing that people just don't understand, okay? How you eat, when you eat, your lifestyle, blah, 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 blah. It's very important. We get into a lot of this with clients, okay? When you learn how to maximize and optimize your natural hormonal output, it can make a huge difference in helping you get the body you want, okay? Be Better Personal Training. See you next time, folks.